How did the Glorious Revolution shape Anglo-American politics? Although the generation between 1660 and 1690 was one of the most obscure generations in American history, the Glorious Revolution led to a series of revolts which had a lasting impact on American helping shape the War of Independence. These revolts include the Boston Revolt in 1689, Leisler's Rebellion, and the Protestant Revolution in Maryland. James II was Catholic and was the ruler of England at the time. All of the citizens were Protestant, and nobody liked that. People got so tired of the Whigs and Tories that they brought over William of Orange, who was Protestant, to rule England. William the Orange planned to come and change the annual Guy Fawkes Day, which was the anniversary for Protestant victory over the Catholic. William of Orange marched around London for weeks. On December, the guards escorted James II into jail, and William became king. A week later, James was smuggled out of jail and lived in exile in France in February 1689. The Boston Revolt, 1689. The Massachusetts Bay Colony were delighted to hear about England's revolution, which gave an opportunity to rid themselves of the deprised Dominion of New England. The Dominion of New England made the crown their control by making a royally adopted government. The Massachusetts first colony to respond to the news of the revolution, when word reached the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and uprising began to spread quickly. On April 18th, the mob finally rose up to overthrow the governor of the Dominion of New England, Sir Edmund Andros. This became known as the Boston Revolt, which was the New England version of the Glorious Revolution. Andros took refuge in his quarters at the Garrison House, and the governor of Massachusetts, Simon Bradstreet, called for Andros to surrender, but he refused. Andros tried to escape, but the militia intercepted the barge he was on when he tried to escape, and after that, he was held prisoner after the negotiation. Andros tried to make an escape, so he dressed in women's clothing, but was quickly caught, and they imprisoned him again. 10 months later, he was held on trial and was freed. The actions of the Massachusetts Bay Colony had given people hope to restate their independence. As Carla Pestana said, quote, "Once the Massachusetts Bay colonists had imprisoned the governor Dominion, its foundations were shaken," end quote. Leisler's Rebellion. The Boston Revolt inspired a similar uprising in New York. The officials tried to hide the news, but soon word got out and the rebellion began to grow. When news reached New England that James II had been overthrown, the Bostonians arose to imprison Governor Andros. That demise, combined with the story of probable French invasion, caused New York to reach a frenzy of excitement. They soon revolted against authority and elected their own people to replace their government. On May 31st, the New York militia seized the fort and Jacob Leisler was put in charge. 2 months later, he became commander-in-chief of Providence, and he was dubbed the leader of the rebellion in New York. After taking control of New York, he tried to organize people to attack French Canada. Leisler found that nobody joined his mind, and he jailed all of them, and he kind of went a little nuts. In 1691, the new royal governor, Colonel Henry Slaughter, something with the soldiers, to secure the city, but Leisler refused to let him into the fort. The soldiers took over the city and captured Leisler and his son, and they were charged for treason, both found guilty, and were stoned to death. As Peter Knight said, quote, "Despite the death of its prominent leaders, Leisler's rebellion lived on in New York politics for decades to come," end quote. The Protestant Revolution in Maryland. For many decades prior to the Glorious Revolution, Maryland's local government had slowly been taken over by Roman Catholics. More than half of the council were Roman Catholics, and they controlled the courts, militia, and land council. After word spread to Maryland, colonists became upset when Maryland's government refused to recognize the new Protestant king and queen of England. The colonists began to arm themselves in about Zoo colonists, calling themselves the Protestant Associations, led by John Code, and they rose up and defeated an army by concealed draw. After winning the battle, Oates set up to the new government that allowed Catholicism. As Carla Renstone said, quote, faced with these rebellions, the king and queen had to decide what to do with their new self-proclaimed supporters. In conclusion, the three colonies paid consequences for their rebellions, though including the Long Island effect of the colonists themselves, in the form of anxious and strife. This tension, battery power 5%. This tension may have been one of the underlying causes of the Salem witch trials. So, although the generation between 1660 and 1670 were one of the most obscure generations in American history, the Glorious Revolution led to a series of revolts which had a lasting impact on America, helping shape the War of Independence. Those revolts included the Boston Revolt in 1689, Lazarus Rebellion, and the Protestant Revolution in Maryland. Thank you. And until next time!